Did you see how that vehicle got into that ditch?
Honestly, I didn't see how they got in there.
See the driver of the red truck?
No.
911, where is your emergency?
There has been a car accident. A car was run off the road. She's bleeding everywhere. She's not moving.
Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. In this case, we will travel to West Chester, Pennsylvania and look into an 18-year-old high school graduate who was killed in what police believed was a car accident. Bianca Roberson had just graduated from Bayard Rustin High School in West Chester, Pennsylvania. She recently got accepted into Jacksonville University in Florida, where she wanted to study criminal justice and psychology. Bianca's goal was to become an FBI agent. She had always dreamed of becoming one since she was a child. Her family would say Bianca was a social butterfly and always loved to spend time with her family and friends. On June 28, 2017, Bianca went to the local Walmart with her grandmother and mother Michelle. After shopping, the three of them loaded the groceries into Bianca's car and told her to go home because something was set to be delivered to their house for her to take to college. Michelle and Josie both had to go to work and told Bianca they loved her. At 5:31 p.m., just 11 minutes after Bianca left the Walmart, multiple 911 calls came in. The calls were about a car accident on the highway. One caller said that the driver of one of the cars was bleeding and not moving.
911, where is your emergency?
It's a car accident that I witnessed. Cars off the road in a ditch.
Just one vehicle?
It looks like it.
911, where's your emergency? I just saw a car go into the brush on 100 going towards Westchester.
911, where is your emergency?
There has been a car accident.
Do you know if the person who hit is injured at all, or?
She's bleeding everywhere. She's not moving.
When officers arrived on the scene, the vehicle was off the highway and down an embankment. Officers explained that the victim sustained a head injury. It was apparent to officers that the driver was deceased, and after retrieving her ID, the victim was identified as Bianca Roberson. At the crash site, investigators took an eyewitness statement. The witness stated that Bianca's car was traveling south on the highway and a red pickup truck was driving beside her. The witness stated they couldn't tell exactly what happened, but it seemed like Bianca was trying to merge, and the red truck hit her vehicle, causing her to lose control and drive down the embankment and hit a tree. PennDOT, which is the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, has cameras that show all major roadways throughout the entire state. Investigators asked PennDOT for a recording of the highway surveillance to paint a better picture of the accident and what took place that day. While waiting for the footage to return, the investigators took Bianca's body for an autopsy. Everyone suspected her death to be from the car accident, but during the autopsy, investigators would find a bullet in Bianca's skull. The bullet was from a .40 caliber pistol. This turned the case from a car accident into a murder. When investigators received the footage from PennDOT, it was unfortunate that the location of the crime wasn't depicted on the surveillance. Detectives would check the footage prior to the crash leading up to the merge, and they would find Bianca's vehicle traveling next to a red pickup truck. In the footage, both drivers can be seen in their respective lanes as they approach a merge. Switching to the next available camera angle after the crash, detectives were able to isolate the red pickup truck. The driver wasn't traveling in the correct lane anymore. The red pickup truck was traveling at a high rate of speed on the shoulder lane. To detectives, it looked like the truck was fleeing the scene. Looking at the following camera at Westchester Pike, detectives determined the red truck never made it to that exit. Listening to the 911 calls, one caller can be heard telling dispatch about a van that was driving between Bianca and the red truck. The caller told dispatch that the van belonged to the public utility water service Aqua. Whoever was driving the van would have been able to see what happened.
These two cars were fighting to merge, and there was an Aqua truck driver, the company Aqua. He was in front of me. The Aqua man said he saw what happened, but he's not willing to stop and give information. The Aqua guy drove off.
Investigators would contact the Aqua company and explain what happened to Bianca. After a few hours, Aqua would contact investigators back with the information about the driver of the van. The driver also agreed to have an interview with detectives.
Green vehicle.
Is this a car?
Yeah, it's a sedan. It's a
Okay.
green sedan. right behind me, come up pretty fast.
Did you see how that vehicle got into that ditch?
Honestly, I didn't see how they got in there.
You see the driver of the red truck?
No.
Okay, what do you think the guy did wrong that he took off so quickly?
I think he may did something wrong, you know.
But you don't know what he
I
did
don't know
wrong.
what he did wrong.
After the interview, investigators felt like they were still at square one. They decided to check the footage and look west from Powley Pike. Their goal was to get as much footage as possible to paint a picture of what happened that fatal day. Investigators found a business named Jersey Mike that had surveillance on the exterior of their building. In the footage from Jersey Mike's, you see the red pickup truck driving from Powley Pike towards Westchester Borough. The truck being spotted was consistent with the 911 calls. June 30th, 2 days after Bianca's crime, an eyewitness came forward with some information. The eyewitness would tell detectives she was traveling on Route 202 as a red pickup truck passed her speeding on the shoulder lane. She also said the driver got off at the Powley Pike exit and went eastbound, not westbound as investigators thought. Investigators realized they were following the wrong truck. She would go on to tell them how she didn't get a license plate, but she did see who was driving. She described the driver of the truck as a white male having blondish or brownish hair, plus some stubble facial hair. Detectives asked if she would be able to composite a sketch. The detectives would take the composite sketch and release it to the media, hoping to receive new tips. Investigators also turned their attention to finding footage east of Powley Pike. They would find a resident that was several hundred yards away from the Powley Pike exit, and the house had great surveillance footage. Looking over the footage, investigators found the truck and were able to see that the red truck had aftermarket rims. Investigators would receive footage from a second resident security system. This resident lived down the block. Looking over the footage, investigators would see the truck pass the camera, and as he did, they were able to see the truck had a sticker decal on the back window. Investigators were also able to spot damage on the hood. The hood of the truck was slightly buckled above the right fender. They also spotted a vertical dent on the side of the truck. Investigators released all the new photos and videos to the media with a $5,000 reward, and on July 1st, around 11 o'clock at night, detectives would get a surprise visit from an attorney with his client. The attorney stated his client would like to turn himself in. His client's name was David Desper, and he told investigators he would be revoking his right and he wouldn't be providing them with any statements. The attorney stated that David did own a red truck that matched the pictures, and he gave them the location of the truck. He also told investigators they had permission to search David's apartment. When they searched David's bedroom, investigators found a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber pistol, the same bullet type that was recovered from Bianca's autopsy. On July 2nd, 2017, David was charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and possessing an instrument of a crime. Investigators also got a search warrant to review his phone. When they were looking over the phone records, detectives found David had made several calls to his best friend. Detectives brought David's friend in for questioning.
You both are best friends, okay? And 12 minutes after he murdered someone, he has a 6-minute phone conversation with you, correct?
Yes.
There's absolutely nothing that's said during that phone call that leads you to believe that he was just involved in an incident where he murdered an 18-year-old female.
No.
And there's nothing out of the ordinary about his demeanor.
Nothing that stood out to me.
To this day, no one knows why David killed Bianca. Investigators were left to speculate on why David committed this crime. They concluded David must have been mad Bianca was driving slowly, or she might have merged in front of him, and that might have pissed David off. All detectives do know is that whatever happened, it caused David to lose his mind, and he started to shout at Bianca, and when that wasn't working, he chose to grab his gun and shot Bianca once, hitting her in the head and killing her. He decided to end her life over road rage. Truly sad, no one deserves what happened to Bianca. David Desper would plead guilty to third-degree murder and would be sentenced to a minimum of 20 years behind bars. Bianca's mother would start a foundation under her name. They would call the foundation Merge with Mercy. Every year the foundation gives a scholarship to a child that is graduating from Boston High School. The foundation also helps victims and families that were impacted by gun violence.